Perpetually residing within my wicked heart are the 6 enemies, headed by lust, as well as duplicity, the desire for recognition, and deceit. My prayer at the lotus feet of Sri Nrsingadev is that he will purify my heart and awaken longing within me for serving Sri Krishna. When will I, crying at the feet of Sri Nrsingadev, beg him that I may engage in the bhajan of Shri Shri Radha Krishna Jugal in Sri Navadvip Dham, safe from all danger? When will that Sri Hari, the sight of whom strikes fear into fear itself, become pleased with me and show me his mercy? Although he appears as the embodiment of terror to the wicked, to Prahlad and other devotees of Sri Krishna, he is exceedingly kind and gentle. When, oh when, will he be pleased with me, and speaking words brimming with compassion, make this insignificant fool fearless? He will say, "O dear child, reside here freely in Sri Gauranga's abode. May you remain engaged in the loving service of the divine couple, and may you develop deep attraction for Sri Nam. On the strength of my devotee's mercy, all obstacles are cast far away. With a pure heart, engage in bhajan of Shri Shri Radha and Krishna, which is saturated with ras." After having said such, when will that Lord happily place his lotus feet upon my head? At once, in the divine prema of Shri Shri Radha Krishna Jugal, I shall undergo ecstatic transformations, sattvika vikar, and roll about on the ground at the door of Sri Nrsingadev's temple. Shri Nrsinga Bhagavan ki jai, Shri Bhakta Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Amazing prayers. There's more here. Oh wait, no. Oh yeah? Yeah.
And now we're going to chant another astonishing kirtan because there's only a few days left before Keshav Vrat, Keshavam, is over. So here every morning we sing Keshava Astakam, which is not in the regular songbook. If any of you have the purple book, it's on page 323, or you can grab some hardcover Spanish books, in which it's on page 309. Otherwise, what's the name like?
Shri Keshavastakam by Srila Rupa Goswami.
And the first words are Nava, Priyaka. So we'll give you a minute to find that. 309 in Spanish, 323. You don't? Where's 3?
If you remind me, how does the beginning go?
Nava, Priyaka,
Okay. I was just, for anyone looking it up, by the lyrics.
Well, he's doing good. Well, this group will do it.
Okay. Braje Vijayanam Bhaje Vipinadeshata Keshavam. Braje Vijayanam Bhaje Vipinadeshata Keshavam. Nava Priyaka Manjari Ruchita Karna Podashriya. Vini Jatara Malati Kalita Shekara Nojvala.
Darocha sita yutika katita vaguvai kakshaka Praje vijay nambaje Vipina deshata keshava Pisangi manikastani Pranata shingi pingekshane Mridanga mukidumale Sabaliham sivam priye Eti swasaravikula Tadalamavyayantam mudha Raje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshavam Gana Pranaya Medhuran Madhuranar Magosti Kala Vilasa Nilayan Nilan Vividha Vesha Vidyotina Sakina Kila Saraya Patishu Hasayantam Gira Raje Jijainam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshavam Shamambuka Kavali Daravili Dagandantara Samudha Girita Tubir Likita Charupa Chankara Udanchadali Mandali Duti Vidam Vivakralaka Raje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshavam Nivadhanavatarnaka Vali Vilokaino Kantaya Natar Koda Putanchale Alugubir Bhuvam Bintati Kalena Dhavala Gata Lagunitartayantam Poro Raje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipina Deshatam Kesham Padankatati Virvaram Virachayantam Advashiyam Kalataralanai Chiki Nichaya Dhulitum Rasajam Marula Hari Chanchali Krita Dukula Chudanchala Praje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipina Deshita Keshavam Vilasa Murali Kala Tvani Virula Sanmanasa Shanada Kila Balavi Pulakayantamantarhe Mahor Vidatatam Hedi Pramuditam Chagosteshwari Praje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipina Deshatake Ipetya Sundari Tati Vira Vira Vyarchita Smitan Kodakaram Viter Natara Panga Bhangi Satai Stana Stavaka Sancharan Nayana Sanchari Kanchala Praje Vijayate Vede Vipina Deshata Keshavam Idam Nikila Balavi Kula Mahotsava Lasana Kamena Kilaya Puman Patati Sustupadyastakam
Tamujvaladhiyam sada Nijapadaravindayaye Tatim Tadatanchalam Sukayata Vishaka Saka Braje Vijayanam Bhaje Vipinadeshata Keshava Braje Vijayanam Bhaje Vipinadeshata Keshava Jaya Keshava Dev Jaya Keshava Dev Keshava Dev Jaya Keshava Dev Jaya Keshava Dev Jaya Keshava Dev Keshava Dev Jaya Keshava Dev Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Rama Rama Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Nitai Gauda Haribo 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 Gauda Haribo Gauda Haribo 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 Nitai Gauda Haribo 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 Nitai Gauda Haribo Nitai Gauda Haribo 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 Nitai Gauda Haribo Nitai Gauda Premanandi. Can I read from there? with fresh kadamba buds adorning his ears, strings of fully blossomed malati flowers forming a crown upon his head, and a Brahmin thread of slightly opened and charming jasmine flowers slung around his neck, he returns from the forest to the village of Braj. I worship that Sri Keshava. Coming back from the forest to the village of Braj, he happily calls his straying Sarabi cows, Pishangi, Mani Kastani, Pranata Shringi, Pingakshana, Mridangamuki, Dumala, Sabali, Hamsi, Vamsi, Priya. I worship that Sri Keshav. Coming back from the forest on the pathways of Braj, he laughs and jokes with his affectionate friends, who are all expert in the pleasantries of jesting, dancing, and singing, and who are splendidly dressed and decorated. I worship that Sri Keshava. His cheeks brilliant with beads of perspiration, his face decorated with pictures drawn in mineral dyes from the hill, and his splendid curling locks of hair deriding the attractiveness of a swarm of black bees, restless for honey. He returns from the forest to the village of Braj. I worship that Sri Keshava. As he returns from the forest to the village of Braj, with the sweet sound of his flute, he calls the Sarabi cows, who, eager to see their young calves, break the ground with their heavy dancing hooves. I worship that Sri Keshava. Coming back from the forest to the village of Braj, he beautifies the path with his footprints. His garland of forest flowers is colored by the dust kicked up by the cows running ahead of him, and his garments in peacock feather move with the waves of the wind. I worship that Sri Keshava. With the playful and sweet music of his flute, elating all the housebound gopis, whose bodily hairs rise up with delight, and also making his mother Yashoda joyous at heart, he comes back from the forest to the village of Braj. I worship that Sri Keshava. As he returns from the forest to the village of Braj, the gopis mount the roofs of their palaces, and with garlands of dancing glances and gentle smiles greet him, whose vision drifts over their breasts like a bumblebee hovering amongst a cluster of flowers. I worship that Sri Keshava. May Vishaka's friend Krishna make happy for all time those who attentively read these 8 poetic verses, which are a great festival of bliss for all the gopis, by making the reader's intelligence shine with unwavering love for his lotus feet. Shri Keshavastakam ki jai, Srila Rupa Goswami ki jai. Very nice. We jumped.
Page 74. Gaurangera Dutipada.
Do you need card towels?
Card towels? Tirtapad. Gaurangera Dutipada Jardana Sampada Gaurangera Dutipada Jardana Sampada Se jane bakati rasa sara se jane bakati rasa karne praveshila gorangera jar karne praveshila hridaya nirmala belota hridaya Bhaje Gaurange Namalay Tara hoy prema dhoy Jai Gaur Tare mui jai boli hari tare Gauranga gunete jure Nitya lila tare spure Gaurang Nitya lila tare spure Se jana bakati adhikari Se jana bakati adhikari O Gaurangera sangi gane Nitya siddha kori mane Gaurangera sangi gane Se jai Vrajendra Shuta Pasha O Shri Gaura Mandala Bhumi Jai Bhajane Chintamani Tara hoy Braja Bhumi Vasha Gaura Prema Rasarnave Se tarange Jeva Dube Se Radha Madhava Antaranga Se Radha গৃহে ভাবনেতে থাকে আগৌরাঙ্গ বলে থাকে নরতম মাগে তর সঙ্গ গৌরাঙ্গের দুতি পদ যার ধন সম্পদ Se jane bhakti rasa sara Gaura hai, Gaura hai, Gaura hai, Gaura hai O Thakur Narottama, Narottama, Thakur Narottama, Thakur Narottama. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. That person That person for whom the 2 lotus feet of Sri Gauranga are his wealth and property knows the essence of bhakti ras. That person for whom the sweet pastimes of Gauranga have entered the ears is pure in heart. Within one who takes Gauranga's holy names, Prem arises. I heartily glorify such a person. To one whose eyes stream tears in appreciation of Gauranga's transcendental qualities, the divine couple's eternal pastimes become manifest. Such a person is qualified for bhakti. One who reveres Gauranga's personal associates as eternally perfected souls goes to the transcendental abode of Rajendra Sutta, the son of the king of Vraj. One who knows the land of Sri Gauda Mandal to be spiritual touchstone achieves residence in the land of Vraj. One who dives into the waves of the ocean of Gauda Prem becomes a confidential associate of Sri Radha Madhav. Whether a person lives in his home as a householder or in the forest as a renunciate, if he exclaims, Ha Gauranga, Nartam Das begs for his association. Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur. O Jaya Vaishnav Thakurani, Jaya Vaishnav Thakurani, Vaishnav Thakurani, Jaya Vaishnav Thakurani, Jaya Vaishnav Thakurani, Jaya Vaishnav Thakurani.
I don't know it that well. That's the book.
There's one over there.
Oh, can you pass this left?
Haribo. Haribo. Bharit Pavan Paramadya Prema Datavan Mavdi Kumar Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai Prema Purushottama Sachinandan Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Ki Jai Bale Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai Vaisani Wali Ki Jai 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 Sri Radhe. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hey, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Gopal. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Gaura hey, Gaura hey, Gaura hey, Gaura hey, Gaura hey, Gaura hey, Gaura hey. Nitai Hey Gaura Hey Nitai Hey Gaura Hey Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Hari Bol Hari Hari Bol Oh Hari Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Hari Hari Bol Hari Hari Bol Oh Hari Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Oh Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Oh Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Bole Vrindavan Mela ki jai Vaisani Wale ki jai 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 Shri Radha Sham Thai Gaura Sitanath Premanande Hari Hari Bol Namah Shristam Namapi Shuchiputram Atra Surupam Rupam Tasakacha Muripurim Maturim Koshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaram Aho Radhika Madhvasam Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Guru Tam Natosmi Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namo Ananda Lila Maya Vigrahaya Hema Bhadivyatschavi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasapradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namo Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namo Bhaktya Bhina Aparada Lakshay Chivtasta Kamaditoram Kamadi Kripa Mahitvam Shanam Prapanna Brinde Brinde Namaste Charanarvindam Govinda Damotaram Govinda Damotaram Everyone. Hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey Saketi, Govinda Damotarama, Shama Sundar Shikandashik, Smaraha Smurali Manara, Radhikar Sakomama Kripanidhe, Supriya Charna King Kurim Kuru Tavai Vasmi nativamittayamana tivikyaya devitam namam charnatikam. First of all, I have my Sastang Dandavat Puspanjali, my heart like flowers thousands and thousands of times at the lotus feet of my holy master, my supremely worshipable spiritual Gurudev, Asmadiya Paramaradhatama Guru Pada Padma Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtotara Satasri Rupa Anuga Acharyavarya Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Secondly, I offer my pranam thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Param Gurudev, to Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Sri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Parampara. And finally, I offer my pranam to Pujapad Srimati Shamarani Didi, Pujapad Sri Bhaktivinoda Ashram Maharaj, and all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Vanchakalpadura Kripas. By the courses Masa Sri Guran Gauranga today, again we have the opportunity to celebrate a most auspicious occasion. Today is the appearance day of Sri Radharaman Lal Ki Jai. It is also the appearance day of Srila Madhavendra Puripad. It is also the appearance of Sri Srinivas Acharya. And it is also the day of the Salil Bihar, the boat pastimes, water pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates during the Chandan Yatra of Radha Madan Mohan in the Narendra Sarovar in Jagannath Puri. So, usually we will speak about two of these festivals in the morning and two of the festivals in the evening on this day to divide the katha. But immediately after lunch I have to fly to the next festival. So we perhaps cannot touch everything, but we'll try to make in the time that we have our Shraddha Pushpanjali, our offerings of the flowers of our faith at the lotus feet of Srila Madhavendra Puripad, Srinivasacharya, and I can't forget Radharaman. Perhaps you know that when Sri Krishna appears in this world, before he appears, he, through Yogamaya, makes his senior, his Gurujan, his associates appear first. So, Yogamaya Purnamasi Devi, Parjanya Maharaj, Sumukha Gop, all his grandparents, and then his parents, Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, they all appear first. So in the same way, before Sri Sachinandan Gaur Hari appears in this world, he causes the appearance of his Gurujan, like his seniors, like Sri Advaita Acharya. And his Mahaprabhu's own Guru, Ishwara Puripad. Gadada Pandit's father, Pundarik Vidyadinti. So all of these persons, like Pundarik Vidyadinti, Advaita Acharya, and Ishwara Puripad, they all the disciples of Srila Madhavendra Puri. So in the previous generation, in the 14th century, that in the 1300s, that time, on this day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu caused the appearance of Srila Madhavendra Puripad in this world. He was a householder when he became quite old. About 3/4 of the way through his life, he accepted sannyas. He was a disciple. His diksha was from Sri Lakshmipati Tirtha, who was a sannyasi in the Madhva, in the line of Madhvacharya. So all the sannyasis in the Madhva line, they are called Tirtha. So someone may have a doubt, why is his name Madhavendra Puri if he's in the Madhva line? because when he was a householder, received his diksha from Lakshmipati Tirtha. So he's in the Madhva line. Later, he received his sannyas vesh from a sannyasi named Puri. So he became Madhavendra Puri. So, when Nityananda Prabhu was traveling as a very young devotee, he left home when he was about 10 years old. One sannyasi took him as a donation from his father, Harai Ojha, Bandhu Padhyay, in Ekachakra. And he traveled for about 20 years all over India. And while Nityananda Swarup was traveling, at that time, he met with Srila Madhavendra Puri. And seeing each other, both Madhavendra Puri Pad and Nityananda Prabhu, they fainted in ecstasy. Madhavendra Puri accepted Nityananda Prabhu as his friend, but Nityananda Prabhu accepted Madhavendra Puri Pad as his Shiksha Guru. They were both were disciples of Lakshmipati Tirtha, but Nityananda Prabhu, seeing his own godbrother as a senior to himself, he accepted Srila Madhavendra Puri, always treated him like Shiksha Guru. But Srila Madhavendra Puri, realizing the great position of Nityananda Prabhu, never saw him as a disciple, he saw him just as his friend. So, once Srila Madhavendra Puri, he was performing in great ecstasy the parikrama of Giriraj Govardhan. So Giriraj Govardhan is such uddipana, stimulates ecstasy of the remembrance of so many pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Especially, he came past Dan Gati. There he was remembering the beautiful Dan Kelly, the tax pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Then he passed there, he came gradually to Govinda Kund, and he was sitting on the bank of Govinda Kund and chanting the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. For a long time, he was doing the ayachak vritti. That means he would live on alms, but he would not actually beg. He wouldn't go to beg alms. Only if someone came and gave something to him, then he would take. So he was chanting for a long time. After some time, a very beautiful Brijbasi cowherd boy approached him. And he said, "Oh, why are you fasting? In my village, no one fasts. I have bought this pot of milk for you." Madhavendra Puri looked at the boy and he was enchanted by his beauty. Madhavendra Puri said, "How did you know I was fasting? And who are you? Where are you from?" He said, "Well, the ladies were coming here and they were taking water from the well, the gopis, and they noticed that you were not begging from anyone. So they gave me this milk to come and give to you. You should take it. I'll go just now and I'll come back later and collect the pot. My name is Gopal. I am a Gopal. I am a Gopal. And I live in this village." So he told him, "You take this and I'll come back and get the pot later." And the boy was walking away. And Madhavendra Puri was looking. And as he was walking away, somehow he just disappeared. Madhavendra Puri thought, "Oh, this is strange." But he was not investigating it deeper, because this is the influence. Yoga Maya makes anusandan abhav. That means the absence of investigation. So he went on chanting, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. As the evening time came, then by the influence of yoga, because he cannot sleep while he's chanting, he has too much taste. But by the influence of Yoga Maya, he began to doze. And then in his dream, he saw the same boy. The same boy came back to him and took him by the hand and said, "Come with me." And he led him to a place just very close to Govinda Kund. and there were some bushes there. He said, "Oh, I am very uncomfortable. I am here in these bushes, and I am suffering from heat in the summer and cold in the winter. And I am very uncomfortable from all the creepers and thorns there. I was established by the great grandson of Krishna. That is, Krishna's son is a Pradyumna. Pradyumna's son is Aniruddha. Aniruddha's son is Bhajranab Maharaj, Bhajranaba. So Bhajranab Maharaj, he established all the main deities, Govinda, Gopinath, Madan, Mohan, and Gopal, this Giridhari Gopal, he's like this. And Gopeshwar Mahadev, Kameshwar Mahadev, and Adi Keshav, so many deities in Braja. If please come to Braj Mandal Parikrama. This year we went to the Samadhi of Bhadranab. Very beautiful place. The Samadhi of Krishna's great grandson. There you can hear his glories, how he manifested the Braj Mandal some generations after Sri Krishna's disappearance. Very great separation pastimes. So glorious. So that cowherd boy said, the great grandson of Krishna, Bhadranab, he established me here. But after some time, the malechers, they were attacking, and the pujari became afraid, and he buried me here and ran away. And I have been here for many, many years. So please, come with villagers and take me out. And then Madhavendra Puri woke up from his dream. He thought, alas, alas. It was Sri Krishna who came to me and gave me this pot of milk. And I did not even recognize him. Just see the power of Yogamaya. You can be here now and saying every day, Jansa Kalapungsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But when you go into the Leela of Krishna by his causeless mercy, you say, Kobala, who's that boy? Don't even know him. You have to discover who he is. So, this is the power of Yogamaya. And Madhavendra Puripad was crying and lamenting. But after some time, he composed himself because he had a mission, and he called the villagers, bring some tools and help. And they all came, and he pointed to the bushes, and they began to cut at the undergrowth there, and they moved the earth, and there they found this form. This is Giridhari Gopal. Now he's famous by the name of Srinathji. I just came from Baja, and many, many years ago, before Gurudev came to the West, Nanda Gopal and his wife, they somehow or other, by the mercy of Sri Krishna, had a deity of Srinathji. And then, some years later, Gurudev came and installed Giriraj Govardhan in the hill right outside the house. So Srinathji, he knew. Srinathji knew that Gurudev would come there and manifest Govardhan Leela there. How amazing. So Srinathji is very, very beautiful. Lifting up Giriraj Govardhan. Without the Giridhari Leela, there would not be Ras Leela. Why? Because Shukadeva Goswami Pad has said that after all the gopis, they were crying, alas, our parents have arranged our marriage to some other gops. And we have to live we'll never know what it's like to be the beloveds of Krishna and live with Krishna in the same house. Giridhari said, no problem. Lifted Govardhan, and they all lived with him in the same house for 7 days and nights. And secretly that inner desire was fulfilled. And that hero, Krishna, he's a great hero. He saved all of the Brajabasis from the wrath of Indra. And then he told them to come out from under the hill. And miraculously, he put the hill down. And when he came out from under the hill, then all Brajabasis, they ran to him. And his seniors, they were embracing him and blessing him and putting the rice paddy, you make an offering on the head for the blessings, giving Ashirvad to the older ones were giving Ashirvad to Krishna. The cowherd boys were massaging his arms. Others were embracing. They all gathered around him. And there was a great surge of Prem. when the hero appeared from beneath Giraj Govardhan. So you've heard of Vacho Vegam, Manasakroda Vegam, all these very difficult to control urges, the Vega. Shukadev Goswami says, Tam prema vegam nibrita brajokaso yatha samayu parirambanadibi gopyastacha sneyam apujan muda didrikshitadbe yuyayo sadashishaha. When Krishna came out from under the hill and everyone came to embrace him and bless him according to their status and relationship with him, then at that time, Tam prema veg, there was not the Vacho veg, Manasakroda veg, this Prem veg, the unstoppable urge of love, it was amplified, became so high. Then after that, Sri Krishna could not resist, the Braj Gopis could not resist. And on the full moon night in the Sharad season, then Krishna played his flute and the Rasa Leela took place. So that was part of the ever increasing prem of Braja Gopis, this Leela. So when you see Giridhari, you remember this, Tam Prema Vegan. He has only come to increase our prem. And why did he appear? Mad Bhakthanam Vinodatam Karomi Vividakriya. Sri Krishna said in the Padma Purana, I perform many, many activities, but all these activities, I just do them to give happiness to my devotees. So why did Giridhari Gopal appear? Jara prem hai boshi hoya prakata huila seva angakari kari jagata torila. First reason, Jaha preme boshi hoya, being controlled by the love of Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri was sitting on the bank of the Govinda Kund and chanting, feeling so much separation from Krishna, and Krishna was feeling separation from him. That is why Giridhari Gopal appeared. Srinathji appeared. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita said, Ya prema bhashya, being controlled by the love of Madhavendra Puri, prakata hoila, Gopal became manifest. And secondly, seva angakari kari, in order to accept our service. Jagata tarila, and liberate the whole world. So then when Madhavendra Puri, along with the villagers, they took Gopal out from the ground and they put him and established him on the top of Govardhan hill. And then according to all the regulations of the Shastra, then Madhavendra Puri, he did the Abhishek. So first of all, you have to do the Udbartan. You know, it's like a coarse powder which is rubbed on the skin and it does exfoliation. You know, like you have what, apricot scrub or whatever you use. Huh? So it's like that, but it's not apricot scrub. It's made from the ground pistachio nuts. Yeah, and also saffron. So it's very fragrant. And so many other exotic ingredients. And also barley flour. In 11th canto, Krishna says, Aushadinam aham yava. Of all plants, I am barley. Barley is supreme. It is a great medicine. So barley flour, pistachio flour, saffron, and other things, they're mixed together. And he rubbed them all over the body of Gopal because he was looking somewhat bedraggled from being buried in the dirt and everything, and it made him completely clean. And then he massaged him with fragrant oil, and then they did the Abhishek of Gopal with thousands and thousands of pots of water from Govinda Kund. So a very beautiful Abhishek took place, and then he was dressed in beautiful yellow cloth, his pitambar, and flowers, and crown, and peacock feather. And Madhavendra Puri told all the villagers, now we'll have the Anukut Mahotsav. All of you make so many thousands of preparations, just like Nanda Maharaj has done, and all the Brijbasis had done in 4,500 years before. So then everyone around that, in the town there, the big town on this side is Anur, and on the other side Yatipur. It's called Yatipur after Madhavendra Puri, because he's a Yati, sannyasi. So that town is named after him. So all the villagers, they cook big mounds of rice with lakes of ghee on the top, golden ghee melting and dripping down like waterfalls from the piles of rice, and many piles of samosas and kachoris and puris and many preparations, different types of sabjis and sweets and shikarini, many types of preparations, and they piled them all over the hill. And then the Madhavendra Puripad himself, he made the offering. And even though the others could not see, Madhavendra Puripad could see with his divine vision how Krishna was actually taking all the bhog offerings and how it became Mahaprasada. And then Madhavendra Puri distributed to all the brahmanas and then to everyone else. So if you come in the Brajmandal Parikrama time, at the time of Anukut Mahotsav, we also make the offerings of hundreds of preparations directly onto Giraj Govardhan in the same place where Madhavendra Puri did this, right close to Govinda Kund. So then the news spread everywhere, and all the other villages in Braj, they also wanted to do this festival. And so each village, they were given a sequence, a schedule, and every day this festival was going on for a couple of months. Anukut Mahotsav, a different village, and every village was trying to outdo the previous village with more preparations and more delicious preparations. A wealthy person donated thousands of cows also, so that Giridhari Gopal would have a Goshala, and then the milk could be used in his service. So then, after some time, Gopal said to Madhavendra Puri, "Oh, I am still somewhat hot and itchy. And to cool down, I want my whole body to be smeared with chandan, Malaya chandan. That means the finest sandalwood paste from the Malaya hills, which is down on the coast of Kerala, very far away." So Madhavendra Puri, he was ecstatic to receive such an order of Gopal. And he set off. So even though he was very old, and this was a journey of thousands of miles, he set off on foot. Why did Gopal do this? One thing, he wanted to test Madhavendra Puri. He could have said, "Oh, but my lord, I am very old and I cannot walk thousands of miles and carry all this chandan. Perhaps proceed to Presikar. You can pass this service on to someone else." But no, he's not like that. He became ecstatic. And this is the nature of bhakti. The person who has really dasya bhav, the mood of a servant, then all the difficulties that they have to face in the course of executing their responsibilities given by their Gurujan, all those difficulties and responsibilities seem like a pramod, great joy, great pleasure. Govardhan himself is the example. Hantaya Madri Abala Haridasavarya Yadrama Krishna Charanas Parasha Pramoda, Krishna and Balaram, and thousands of boys and hundreds of thousands of cows are always walking over Govardhan, but his hair, the grass is standing on end, that's his hair standing up in ecstasy. He never feels any burden. So this is the nature of the servant. If you have some service to do and it's difficult and you complain, then this is not a servant. A servant feels joy. The more difficulty there is, the more joy. Tomara sevaya dukkha hoyo jato sayato parama sukhi. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, whatever difficulties I have to face in your service, I accept that as my highest happiness. So Madhavendra Puri passed the test, and the second motivation of the Gopal in this was to show the whole world the greatness of the love of Madhavendra Puri. So he set off, and from Vrindavan he went south, and as he was coming to Bengal, he came to the village of Shantipur, and there he stayed in the home of one householder whose name was his name was Kamalakanta Veda Panchanana. Kamalakanta Veda Panchanana. But later he became famous by Advaita Acharya. Yeah. But that was his name before he became famous as Advaita Acharya. So there Advaita Acharya was much, now we always see him in his older, very senior Swarup, but he was young then. Kamalakanta Veda Panchanana. And seeing the ecstatic love of Srila Madhavendra Puri, he begged shelter from him, and he received Diksha from Srila Madhavendra Puri at that time. And then after some time, Madhavendra Puri continued on his journey south. And as he was going south, he came into the state of Utkal, that is now Orissa, Utkal. And he came to the district of Baleshwar. And there in Baleshwar, there was the town of Ramuna. So in Ramuna, there was a very ancient deity of Gopinath that was there since the time of Lord Ramachandra. And when he was there, he was talking to the pujaris. And he asked, what kind of bhog do you offer to Gopinath? And they said, every day we offer 12 pots of Amrita Keli, which is a type of the boiled down condensed milk, which is sweeter than nectar. And so Madhavendra Puri was there, he was watching the ceremonies. And then when it was time for the bhog offering, the pujari came with the bhog covered by a cloth, and he was walking past with the 12 pots of Amrita Keli. Madhavendra Puri, he thought, I wonder what it tastes like. If I knew what it tastes like, then I would make the same preparation for my Gopal. Then the next moment he realized, in my mind I was wondering what the bhog tastes like before it had been offered to Gopinath. I made an offense, alas. And feeling great anutap, feeling regrets, he left the temple and he went and he sat in the marketplace. And it was evening time, the marketplace, the town square was empty, everyone had gone home. And very late at night he was chanting the Mahamantra there, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. In the meantime, the pujari had a dream. Do you know how we know this story? We know this story because after Mahaprabhu left Navadvip and went to Katwa, he accepted sannyas there from Sri Keshava Bharati. Then Nityananda Prabhu tricked him, and instead he wanted to go to Vrindavan, but by a trick Nityananda Prabhu brought him to Shantipur. Then his mother came, Sachimata, to see him and said, don't go to Vrindavan, it's very far away. Go to Jagannath Puri, because Puri and Navadvipa are like two rooms in the same house. And when pilgrims are going back and forth, I'll receive some news about you, and maybe, perhaps sometimes you will come to have darshan of the Ganga also. So Mahaprabhu accepted the request of Sachimata, and instead of going to Vrindavan, from Shantipur, he set off towards Puri. And as he was on his way to Puri, Mahaprabhu himself arrived in Ramuna, and he was with 4 associates. Who was Mahaprabhu traveling with? Nityananda Prabhu, yes. Mukunda Datta, yes. No. No. Jagadananda and Damodar Pandit. So Mukunda Datta, Nityananda Prabhu, Jagadananda and the Damodar Pandit. 4 associates were with him. And when he arrived there, he had the darshan of Gopinath, and he was dancing in ecstasy. And then he sat down, and seeing Gopinath, he remembered the story from the life history of his own Param Gurudev. You can think, just like we think of our Param Gurudev. I think Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshwati is my Param Gurudev, he's my grandfather Guru. So Mahaprabhu feels like this. He's my grandfather Guru, Madhavendra Puri. And he had heard this story directly from Srila Ishwara Puripad. And now Mahaprabhu was telling it to his associates. So Mahaprabhu is telling this, that Madhavendra Puri was sitting in the marketplace, and then at night, the pujari had a dream. And in the dream, Gopinath told him, you bought 12 pots. But when you came to collect them, you only took away 11 because I stole one and I hid it underneath my dhoti. For my devotee, Srila Madhavendra Puri. So now you should come and take that pot and give it to Madhavendra Puri. He is sitting in the marketplace. So then the pujari woke up. What a strange dream. So then he went into the temple room of Gopinath and he moved the dhoti of Gopinath, and there was the Amrita Keli. It was a supernatural pastime. And he took that pot of Amrita Keli and he went out into the marketplace calling, Madhavendra Puri. Who is Madhavendra Puri? Madhavendra Puri, where are you? Who is Madhavendra Puri? Madhavendra Puri raised that. I am Madhavendra Puri. The pujari said, you are the most fortunate person in the whole universe, and gave Dandavat Pranam to him. what happened? He said, Gopinath has stolen this key. He has hidden it. And he told me to give it to you. And he gave that key to Srila Madhavendra Puri. So Srila Madhavendra Puri Pad, he was in great ecstasy. And he honored that kheer. He could taste the Krishna's prem, Krishna's love for him in that kheer. And then when it was finished, he washed the pot and he broke the pot and he folded the pieces and tied them in his cloth, and every day he would eat a little piece of the pot. And every day when he took a little piece of that pot, he felt the same ecstasy that he felt when he tasted the Amrita Keli. So Madhavendra Puri was thinking, oh, when the morning comes, the news will spread everywhere like wildfire and everyone will come and show respect to me. So I have to leave before this happens. So he quickly ran away and he set off for Jagannath Puri. So he was traveling for some days, and when he arrived in Puri, actually his reputation arrived in Puri before he did. And when everyone saw him and discovered, oh, this is Madhavendra Puri, Gopinath had stolen the kheer for him. Everyone was giving pranam to him and offering flowers to him and praying for his mercy. So fame, it comes actually by one's past karma. If someone has the karma to be famous, and then they'll become famous. There may be a person who is actually more talented in many, many ways, but they don't become famous. Why? They don't have the karma to become famous. But material fame, it is like Kuryu pratishta vishtaya yatnam maspashane baram. It is like the stool of a pig. Be very careful. Don't touch the stool of a pig. It's contaminating. But the fame of a Vaishnava is transcendental. And it is purifying. Purifies the three worlds. If you speak the fame and the glories of a material person, what is this? Tadvaya samtirtam shanti manasa. This is a place of pilgrimage for crows. This is the garbage dump. If you speak the glories of material persons, then you became like a crow and going and eating trash in the garbage dump. But the fame of a Vaishnava is a Mangalmai, all auspicious. It is a divine fragrance. And that divine fragrance of his aprakrita yash, transcendental fame, was spreading everywhere, and everyone was honoring Madhavendra Puri. So when he got to Puri, he spoke with the Pandas in Jagannath Puri and told them that Gopal in Vrindavan had told him to bring the Malayaja Chandan. And they said, oh, you don't have to keep going all the way to Kerala. We'll acquire some of this Chandan for you, and we'll give you a servant to help carry a large amount, and we'll speak to the king also, and we'll get you a customs waiver. So you don't have to pay the customs taxes every time you cross the borders to go to the next state and the next state. And you can take the Chandan back to Vrindavan safely without any disturbance. So then Madhavendra Puri was so happy. Lord Jagannath was merciful there. And he took the sandalwood and then he set off. And as he was going back to Vrindavan the same way he came, of course, he passed through Ramuna. Again, he had the darshan of Gopinath there. And he was dancing in the kirtan there. And then in his dream, Gopinath came to him. Sorry, in his dream, Gopal, Giridhari Gopal, from the top of Govardhan in Yatipur, came to him in the dream. And he said, oh, you should grind up all this sandalwood paste and apply it upon Gopinath every day, because you should know that myself, Gopal, and Gopinath, we are the same. So if you have given the Chandan to him, then you have given the Chandan to me, and I will be cool and relieved from my heat and irritation. So then Madhavendra Puripad woke up, and along with other servants, they were grinding the Chandan and decorating Kirchot Gopinath from head to toe in sandalwood paste every day until all the Chandan was gone. And when they finished, then it was Chaturmasya. And so Madhavendra Puri, he returned to Jagannath Puri to observe Chaturmasya there. And then afterwards, when he came to Ramuna, but he was very old, he did not arrive back in Vrindavan, but he disappeared there in Ramuna. So very close to the temple of the Gopinath, there is the Samadhi of Madhavendra Puri. Have you been there? Samadhi of Madhavendra Puri. So, see, Madhavendra Puri, he had so many famous disciples. But in Chaitanya Charitamrita, a history has been described about two disciples in particular, Ishwara Puripad and Ramachandra Puripad. So Ramachandra Puri, he was not a Satshasya, not a bona fide disciple. He had a vision that his guru is a human being like me. I eat, Gurudev eats, I sleep, Gurudev sleeps. I go to the bathroom, Gurudev goes to the bathroom. We are same, we are human beings. He's older, maybe he knows more verses. Huh? So this is mundane vision. Krishna said, Acharyam mam bijanyam navamanyeta kahichit. You should know that the Acharya is my very self. Never be envious towards the Acharya, thinking, namatya buddha suyeta. Don't be envious towards the Acharya, thinking that the body of the pure Vaishnava is made of 5 material elements. That is a material body. Diksha Kali Bhakti Kari Atma Samarpan. Say Kali Krishna Kari Tari Atma Sam. Say Deya Tari Kari Chidananda Moy Aprakrita Deya Tara Charna Bhajai. Mapu taught Sanatana Goswami at the time of Diksha, when the disciple surrenders to his guru, then Krishna accepts that disciple to be as good as himself. He makes his body aprakrita, supernatural, Sachidananda, and then in that transcendental body he serves Krishna. Na devo devam achayat. Without, there's a saying in the Vaishnav Tantra, na devo devam achayat. Without becoming a deva, you cannot serve a deva. If you want to serve Indra, how can you do it? You have to become a demigod yourself and go to heaven, then you can serve Indra. So in the same way, if you don't have a aprakrita, Sachidananda body, then how can you serve the Sachidananda body of Krishna? It's not possible. So the Satsishya, when he surrenders to the Sadguru, he becomes transcendental, and in his transcendental body he serves the deity. So Srila, that Ramachandra Puri, he had a mundane conception in regard to his guru. So when Madhavendra Puripad was old and about to leave this world, he was crying, alas, alas, I have not attained Mathura. Right? Because he was on his way to Vrindavan, but he only got as far as Ramuna. And he was, alas, I have not attained. Here Mathura means Mathura Mandal. You know? Rupa, Sarupam, Sirupam, Mathurim, Gostavatim. Mathurim means Mathur Mandal, Braj Mandal. I have not attained Mathura. And he was crying. So then, his foolish disciple, Ramachandra Puri, he said, oh Gurudev, don't worry, don't be in anxiety. Remember Brahman, Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma. Those who remember Brahman, they become joyful. Na sochati, na kanchati, they don't lament and they don't hanker for anything. So don't hanker for anything, don't lament about anything, just remember Brahman. Madhavendra Puri said, get out of here, you rascal. If I see you in my last moment, I'll go to hell. I'll go to the lowest planets if I see you when I'm leaving this world. Get out of here. And he kicked out that Ramachandra Puri. And he rejected him and he withdrew his mercy from him. Guru gives mercy when we follow Guru. But if we deviate and displease Guru and go against Guru or make offense to Guru, then he's very tolerant. He can tolerate many times. But after some time, this was a very terrible offense. Madhavendra Puri, he withdrew his kripa from that disciple. And then what was the result? First, he became a dry jnani. He was only interested in dry philosophy. He had no interest in the beautiful Krishna rasa. And secondly, he became critical of everyone around him. He became critical of the Vaishnavas. So this is the symptom. How can you tell if the Guru has removed his mercy? One, you have no taste in Harinam and Harikatha. And two, you start criticizing others. These are the symptoms. But on the other hand, his other disciple was Ishwara Puri. When he was about to pass away, he was crying. Even he was lying in bed, he could not move. He was passing stool and urine on himself. And his disciple was changing his cloth, changing the bedcloth and washing his body and giving fresh cloth. He served him in a very humble and menial way, like a nurse. And because of this But he never thought, oh, my Gurudev is old and dying and his body is material. He never thought. Always thought, my Gurudev is eternal associate of Radha and Krishna. Serving like this. And because of his Guru Nishta, his deep faith, he was blessed by Srila Madhavendra Puripad. And Srila Ishwar Puripad became filled with Prem. He had so much Prem, he even became the Guru of Radha Krishna combined in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He became the Diksha Guru of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How great he was. This was the blessing. So, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur gives an example. On the bank of the Jamuna water is very sweet. The soil is very sweet. The same sun is shining, the same rain is falling. But a mango seed will grow into a beautiful mango tree. And the seed of a thorn tree will grow into a bubble tree. And only have thorns and no fruit. So in the same way, two disciples, they may have the same Guru. And Guru's same mercy is there to nourish both of them. But due to foolishness or behaving in a proud or offensive way, one of them produces the fruit of Krishna Prem and the other one just becomes prickly thorn bush and giving problems to everyone. Like this. So we see that when later Ramachandra Puri, he was in Jagannath Puri with Mahaprabhu and his associates, and he was always finding fault. Oh, look, what is that there? Looks like some ants. Yes, there are ants. And the ants are walking in a line and they're going underneath the door to the Gambhira. What does it mean? I don't know. It means that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is secretly eating sweets in his room. That's what it means. Huh? So like he was always looking for a fault and trying to describe the faults, even of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So only having a great Guru is not enough. Actually, we have to surrender to Gurudev and hold Sri Guru in the highest esteem as the eternal associate of Radha and Krishna. Otherwise, if we have a material conception towards Sri Guru, then we'll lose taste in everything and become critical, like Ramachandra Puri. But not like Ramachandra Puri. Why? Because we will suffer like anything. But Ramachandra Puri, actually, he has a license to be critical. Do you know why? Because he's the incarnation of Jutila. Yes. So just as in Krishna Leela, Jutila is always criticizing Radhika and Krishna. So when Jutila appears in Gaura Leela, actually becomes Ramachandra Puri. So this pastime is to teach us. Ramachandra Puri is actually okay. That's his nature. It's his eternal nature. But if we follow the example of Ramachandra Puri, then it will be very unfortunate for us. So Mahaprabhu's Leela is like this. Through some of his associates, he teaches us what to do, and through some of his associates, he teaches us what not to do. So when Mahaprabhu was there in the Ramuna, he began to describe the separation mood of Srila Madhavendra Puri. So perhaps you know that Madhavendra Puri composed a verse. Mahaprabhu was telling his associates, Madhavendra Puri composed a verse. And by manifesting this verse, it became clear that Madhavendra Puri is the first sprout of the Kevala Madhurya Mai Upasana in the line of Madhvacharya. Before there was devotion to Krishna, Madhvacharya's deity is also Dadimantan Gopal in Udupi. But the Kevala Madhurya Mai Upasana, that means the service to Radha and Krishna, which is completely devoid of any sense of Krishna's opulence, in exclusive sweetness in Braja, in Parakiya Rasa. That had not manifested clearly before, and it was first manifest by Srila Madhavendra Puri, and he manifested it through this verse. Ai dina dayadranata he mathuranata kadavalokshase hridayam tvamaloka kataram dayita brahmyati kim karomyaham. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said this verse, he could not even recite the verse. Krishnas Kaviraj Goswami Pad said, only 3 persons have fully tasted this verse. Srimati Radhika, who spoke it, Madhavendra Puri who revealed it, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who received it and relished it in the Gambhira. When Mahaprabhu began to say this verse, Ai Deen, he could not get any further. And in a madness, he just kept saying, Ai Deen, Ai Deen, Ai Deen, breathlessly. And he got up and he was running around and fainting and rolling on the ground. And all the sattvic bhavs came in his body. Not only, sattvic bhavs go through 5 stages. Dumayat, Dwalit, Dipta, Udipta and Sudipta. So the first stage is only one sattvic bhav is coming just a little bit and you can hold it back, you can suppress it. It's called Dumayat, smoking. Should give up smoking. No, you should start smoking. Nayanam galadasrudaraya vadanam gadgur. We pray for this. Or when will the eyes be decorated with tears of love? When will the hairs be standing on end? So the first stage when the sattvic bhavs are coming, that is called Dumayat, smoking. So try to start smoking. And then the next stage is Dwalit, that means lit, smoking, and then the fire is lit. So then two sattvic bhavs are coming, ecstatic symptoms, and it's very difficult to hide. And then it becomes uddipta, inflamed, highly inflamed. So the Dumayat, Dwalit, Dipta, then Uddipta. That stage of Uddipta is in Rudabhav. And then in Adirudabhav, Sudipta. It becomes Sudipta. That is all 5, 6, 7, 8 sattvic bhavs and multiplied over 1,000 times. So that comes in Adirudabhav. So when Mahaprabhu would say this verse of Madhavendra Puri, he would go into the state of not even Rudra Mahabhav, but Adirudra Mahabhav, and all the 5, 6, 7, 8 sattvic bhavs in the highly inflamed condition. So Dumayat, Dwalit, Dipta, Uddipta, Sudipta. So why did Mahaprabhu relish this verse so much? What is there? This verse embodies Mathura Viraha, the separation that Srimati Radhika felt when Krishna left for Mathura. That is a very pathetic situation. You know that Akrura came to Vrindavan in the evening and he was talking with Krishna, Balaram and Nanda Maharaj for the whole night, and he persuaded Balaram that he must go and help his parent Vasudev. And because Krishna did not want to be without Balaram, so Krishna also agreed. Ramaina sadam mataram pranite sopalkamaya anurakta chitta. So Krishna agreed, and the next morning, very early in the morning, all the gopis, they came and they were outside Nanda Bhavan in Nandagaon, and they were in great anxiety. What will happen? Who knows? If he will go there, it's very dangerous. And if he will defeat Kamsa Maharaj and all of his associates, how long will it take? And then he'll have to pacify his relatives there. How long will that take? And there are so many beautiful girls also there. From the royal families, not the village girls like us. Sophisticated royal families. There. Will Krishna ever come back? If he goes, they feel so much anxiety because Anishta Shankini Bandhu Hridayani Bhavantihi. In the Abhigyan Shakuntala, the drama written by Kalidas, this poem is there. And it said that when the symptom of intense love is that you always feel some anxiety, so that something bad is going to happen to the person who is dear to you. Because the love is so beautiful and too good to be true, something must spoil it. So that anxiety comes. So even though all the other Brijbasis are thinking, oh, Krishna is just going, he's from the dairy farm, he never went to the big city before, it will be a nice excursion for Krishna. So he'll go there for a few days and come back. But the gopis' love is so intense that they think, if he goes, he'll never come back. And Mother Yashoda was also very worried because of her intense love. Nanda Maharaj was pacifying her. Oh, don't you worry. I'll take care of him and I'll come back as soon as possible, I promise you. And he was trying to pacify Mother Yashoda. And then Mother Yashoda is very kind. She was trying to pacify the gopis. But when Akrura bought his chariot, and Sri Krishna got onto the chariot, then all gopis, they were weeping. In fact, old Brajmandal was weeping. Even all the cows, they came out from the Goshala and they surrounded the chariot with their faces stained with tears. Even the deers came out from the forest. And the peacocks came, and they all came, all the creatures from everywhere, and all the Brijbasis, they surrounded the chariot, and everyone was crying. Even the parrots and the birds in the sky flying above the chariot were shrieking. The rocks on Govardhan were cracking and rolling down the hill and bringing the trees down with them. The whole of Brajmandal was in pain. All the grass that was green became yellow and dry at that painful moment. And Krishna got onto the chariot. And then Akrura, he looked towards Balaram and towards Nanda Maharaj, and they gave him permission, and he cracked the whip and pulled on the reins, and the chariot began to move. And at that moment, Radhika ran and she jumped up onto the chariot to try to catch Krishna, but she could not reach him, and her Sakis caught her and pulled her down. And she cried, "Ha, Krishna." And Krishna, he could not look back, because he thought, if I look back, I will not be able to go there to Mathura. And Krishna fainted. And Akrura put his arm around Krishna, because sometimes if you pull away in a chariot, there can be a jolt and someone may fall off. So on the pretext of holding Krishna, that he would not fall off the chariot, Akrura was holding him so he wouldn't jump off and go and meet with the gopis. Some of the gopis were catching the reins of the horses. Chandravali had fainted, and her Sakis picked her up and they laid her body down in front of the horses, so that Krishna couldn't leave except over the dead body of Chandravali. So Akrura began to drive in a zigzag way to avoid the gopis who were fainting here and there. And then it drove off in, like the painting, only seeing the dust in the distance. And Krishna went to Mathura. So how was the Srimati Radhika's separation at that time? We cannot describe. Even she cannot describe. Radhika fainted and became unconscious. The Sakis were fanning her. They thought that she will leave this world. They're taking cotton and holding it beneath her nose to see if she's breathing or not. After some time, Radhika opened her eyes, and her Sakis, Lalita and Vishaka, said, "Oh, you don't worry. Krishna disappeared so many times before. Like in the Ras Leela, he went away, but he was just hiding and he was watching us. Krishna said he has not gone. He's here somewhere and he's hiding. He's watching us. Let's go and find him." So then Radhika, she felt some optimism, and she got up and she was running and looking here and there in the caves of Govardhan. And as she was wandering here and there, she looked and she saw Chandravali. So when Krishna is there in Vrindavan, there's always prema pratiyogita, love competition between the groups of gopis. But when separation comes, then they all come together in one group. You know? Just like if there may be a lake and a pond and a well and a river, but when there's a monsoon and they all flood, then it all becomes one. The river becomes one with the pond and with the lake and with the well. It all becomes one. So at the time of separation, when there's a flood of Prem, then all the groups of gopis, they become in one group and they have no enmity. They have love for each other. So when Radharani saw Chandravali, she said, "Oh, my dear Saki Chandravali, I am so unfortunate. But you have embraced Krishna so many times. And so with your arms which have become fragrant by embracing Krishna, make me fortunate, Chandravali, and give me your embrace. And Radhika stepped forward to receive the embrace of Chandravali, and Lalita Saki stopped her. Why? Not because of competition. To stop Radhika from injuring herself, because it was not Chandravali, it was Radhika's own reflection in the jewels of Govardhan. But in the madness of her separation, seeing her own reflection, she thought it was Chandravali. Then Radharani looked and said, there's Krishna on the chariot of Akrura. Quick, stop him, stop him. And Radharani went running. And she was running to catch Krishna and pull him down from the chariot of Akrura. But as she got closer, she said, wait. This is not a golden chariot. It's a hill covered in golden flowers. This is not Krishna on the chariot. It's a tamal tree on the top of the hill. This is not Akrura driving the chariot, but it's a tiger sitting beneath the tamal tree. And then she fainted. So in this way, whatever she's seeing, it is causing to have the spurti of Krishna everywhere. That's why her name is Krishnamai. Krishnamai yaha Krishna bitare bahire bitare yaha netta pari tahan Krishna spuri. Who sees Krishna inside and outside, and wherever her eyes fall, she sees Krishna. So her name is Krishnamai. And when she realized it wasn't Krishna, then Shrimati Radhika again fainted, unconscious. This is the Adiruddha Mahabhav. What is Adiruddha Mahabhav? You see, if a person comes in the stage of Rati Bhav, Prem, in separation, sometimes they see Krishna in the heart. Or sometimes they may see Krishna outside, Antarspurti or Bahirspurti, for a moment, and then it disappears. But when a person comes up to the stage, Prem, Sneha, Man, Pranaya, Rag, Anurag, in Anurag there's such a thing called Vipralamba Vispurti, an intense separation of Krishna, which is so real, it's indistinguishable from actually meeting him. But in Anurag, when that Vipralamba Vispurti, Krishna disappears, then the separation is Dvigunit, it becomes double what it was before. But then when Prem goes from Anurag into Ruddhabhav, then another type of realization